Rose Winson just resubscribed for 9 months. Twitch baby. Rose Winson just resubscribed for 9 months. Twitch baby. Rose Winson just resubscribed for 9 months. Twitch baby. Rose Winson just resubscribed for 9 months. Twitch baby. 9 months. Twitch. Tamia Beans just resubscribed for 15 months. Best 15 months of my life. Purple heart. Tachum Pancakes just resubscribed for 24 months. Woo. I've loved every second of being part of this community. One Grumpy Lican just resubscribed for 10 months.
Wait, let me, there, now they can hear me, and now they should be able to hear you.
Hello?
Hello! I might have to turn you up, yeah, you're right.
Hello?
Hello. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, I turned you up a little bit. I hear echo of myself, though.
Oh, no.
It's okay, I think it's gone now, maybe? Okay.
It's gone?
Yeah, I think so. Oh, let me try to be loud again. Woo, 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 woo. Okay, yeah, we're good. Now Small can be heard anywhere Small is. Small is all impotent. Omnipotent. Like me.
Lola Hasten cheered X100.
Never mind, that's not fun. I said the right words. Thank you to oh my gosh, I got another subscribers. Oh my goodness.
Peter Inkrat just resubscribed for 23 months. So
Thank
close
you.
to 2 years.
Yeah, very close to 2 years. Thank you, Tammy Beans, for the resubscription. Best 15 months of my life. Got it right that time. Tatum Pancakes, thank you for the tier 1. Being subscribed for 24 months. That's 2 years. Woo! I loved every second of being part of this community. Thank you, Tatum. I'm glad you're part of the community too. You make me laugh and smile a lot. Grumpy Lycan, thank you for resubscribing at tier 1 for 1 month for a total of 10 months. Sorry, I don't know why I did like that. Thank you to Lola Heights. Oh my gosh, Heisen. No wait, Heisen. I think Lola Heisen. Lola Heisen. Thank you for the I can't do. Oh my gosh, 100 bits and the adorable heart featuring Rat. Thank you for resubscribing 1 month, tier 1, for a total of 23, almost 2 years. And you mentioned that in your wonderful comment, so close to 2 years. You're very close. It's not too far though. Time's been pretty fast lately. Okay, let's see here. Is that the small? That is the small, yes. Before you slip, we don't talk about that.
Subs.
Oh, Petring, I didn't have to do that. Jeez. Thank you, Petring Rat, for the big flex and drop of 5 gifted community subscriptions to the Beans. Thank you very much for that, Petring Rat. Let's hear it for the boys. Let's give them all a hand. Wait, I don't know what the song is. No, but give them a woos. Give Petring Rat a woos or Beans. Actually, it should be Beans. I should be more consistent. What is this music? It was supposed to be spring. I'm sorry, Swell, you can't really hear the music I'm playing. Let me switch that. I might go back to the basic music. I need to make additional playlists. Let's start here. There we go. You probably heard this song so many times though. All right, there we go. Small, you still here?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. I don't. Oh, there you are. You're just floating around.
By the way, someone said this redeems.
No! Dazzle stars. Okay. Muddy Blues, I will give you dazzle stars. I will give you close-up dazzle stars, okay? There you go. I'm trying to get them close, but if I go too close, it tries to grab the camera. Wait, that's pretty close, actually. Oh, wait, there we go. I gotta move like that. There we go. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Super size those stars. Thank you for that, too, for requesting dazzle stars. Hello, Werewolf Billy. Yeah, Small is here. Yeah, Small is here. Small, would you be okay if the Pictionary is working? That you want to draw a couple of things? I'll just write up the word on the side of the screen where people can't see. If you want to, that is.
Okay.
What was the answer? I'm like, duh.
I'll draw some.
Okay. I'm old, so I think my hearing's going. Honestly, it's harder for me to decode what spoken words are sometimes. I'm old and ancient. So let's see here. I don't know what I'm doing. What am I doing? What do I do, Small? What's on the agenda? What are we supposed to do?
I don't know. I'm following your lead.
I'm making it up today because I really don't have content. I don't even have art to show or anything. You know what? We're just gonna play Pictionary mainly. We could go to the back rooms if you don't mind a little bit of a spooky scare, possibly. Maybe we can do a poll. I'll give you a poll possibly and check after Pictionary.
I went full-time at work and just got my first full-time check. I feel so rich and fancy.
Whoa, that's very fancy. Congratulations, Petring Rat. It's always wonderful to get paid to make that money. That's wonderful. Sandman, someone consult the calendar. You would think I'm not even that organized, Sandman. I'm not that organized. Backroom Adventures? Yes, it could be Backroom Adventures. I'm gonna play with the music though, because it's like loud for me, I think. Let's turn it down a little bit more. I'll put it right there. Yeah, so it's soft in the back. Kiwi! Small, you sneaking Kiwi around?
Maybe.
Sorry, I just have giggles sometimes. Let's see if the Pictionary is working. I'll see what words we have here. Let's see. How do I check this work? Next prompt. Let's try 1 and see if it's working. I don't want to do a super hard one. I don't know if there's. Okay. I can do. No. Could have done that one. No. I'm just saying no to all of them, basically. We can do this one, but I think there's a duplicate. Let's try this one.
Oh.
So for those of you that don't know, if you get the highest score on Pictionary on Twitch, we give you a super valuable role title of Pictionary Champion of the Week. Yeah, that's it. Let me grab a pencil. Which color should I pick? I like to always pick like blue and purple and stuff. Okay, ready everyone? Let's see if this works correctly. If not, I might have to do a refresh of it. Start the round. I'm gonna draw it facing the camera. See if I can do this. Looks like it's working. Oh, I'm looking at the picture, not drawing. Oh my gosh, I'm moving windows too. No, I'm sorry. I have windows that do stuff sometimes. If I point at them. Someone got it. It is butterfly. I think I have a duplicate of that word though. We've done butterfly so many times. I think we did last time too, honestly. Show me the round scores for butterfly. This is more like a test run than anything else. Money Blues.
Dex 100. Ziggbee,
Hey,
how
hey,
are
Smokey.
you, my glorious furry friend?
I'm doing great, thank you. Ray, I hope you're doing good too. Thanks for joining us on Twitch. We have Muddy Blues, first place for Butterfly. Paige Mustang, second place, and also second place, Tatum Pancakes. Oh, Small, I didn't think about that. What if Tatum Pancakes wins? Will you get super jelly?
Binkers 2024
No, because I'm
just
actually here with you,
resubscribed for 14
so
months.
I get it better than she does.
Ooh, it's more better reward to be with me? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Tatum, you want to join us? No.
Wow.
I just love you.
No, she is not allowed.
She's not allowed. Oh my goodness.
No.
Small, I'm sorry. I like to be like bratty sometimes. I'm sorry. I can't control myself. Okay, never mind.
Starting drama.
Yeah. Also, third place is Grumpy Lycan. I guess I'll honorable mention everybody because there's not many. There's only 7 people that got it. Tama Beans, Carby, and Rose Winsome also got on there. Good job, everybody. And glad to see that Pictionary is working successfully. You want to draw the next one, Small?
Sure.
Oh, you already got the pencils out. You can pick any color you want, too. I'll pick one pencil to draw what the word is off to the side. Hopefully this all works. Let me check what the next word is. I swear we've done this word, too, before. Let's see here. I'll have to draw it slow so it's not be read easily.
Crabmother_Mickey just resubscribed for 24 months. 2 years of the best serotonin. Can't believe how fast time go.
Is that pretty legible?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like springs type stuff, basically. If anyone didn't know what the kind of theme roughly is. Let me push. I'll push the round and you can start, Small. Start the round. Small's gonna be drawing a picture. It's gonna be theme, like spring type things you might think about. Also gotta thank somebody too. Thank you to Crab Mother Mickey for the 1 month tier 1 subscription and being subscribed for 2 years, making the 24-month mark. 2 years of the best serotonin. OMG, can't believe how fast time goes. Me neither. Time has gone by really fast. I see a hydrate from Sammy as well. I'll take care of that and get some hydration. I wish I could share some water with Sammy as well. I want to share snacks and drinks. Someone got it. It's counting down. 13, 12. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job, Small. Very good job. The answer was seed. And I can see there's a beautiful flower with a beautiful seed that comes from the flowers. Let's see how we did for seed. I don't have to yell. I don't have to yell. Show the round scores.
Lince, I have just resubscribed for 3 months. Ziggbee heart hug, Ziggbee heart hug, Ziggbee heart hug.
Lincia, thank you for. Gee, you didn't have to do that. Jeez, Lincia. You're subscribed on both. I feel bad. Never mind. Alencia, thank you for the 1 month tier 1 subscription. Be subscribed for 3 months on Twitch. Thank you very much for that, Alencia. Jeez. This is the round for the word was seed, a spring word. Usually you plant seeds during the spring, or sometimes bulbs. Anyone plant bulbs? You have to buy like this big thing and then put it in the ground and it makes a pretty flower.
For a little while because I'm running errands with my girlfriend right now, but I told her honey Ziggbee is live. I gotta join.
Oh, no worries, Ray. Thank you for the message too, the 100 bits. Only got to be here for a while. I got because I'm running errands with my girlfriend right now. But I told her, Zippy's live. I gotta join. You can. Oh my god, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not getting involved. Thank you for joining though. Well, first place for seed is Tatum Pancakes, and then Then it was Rose Winsome, second place, and third place is Muddy Blues. And then honorable mentions, Hey Fuzzy, Noah, and Crab Mother Mickey. Good job, everybody. Very good job. I think Tatum's ahead. Hide the scores. Should I put up a poll? I think some of you want. I can. Oh my gosh, I'm tripping on my own words. I can ask. If you'd like us to go to the back rooms for a little bit, we might get a little scary stuff. I don't know how scary though, but just to warn you, like that might be possible. If you want us to go to a back rooms, it might be a spooky one. Put one in chat. Show ones in chat. Let me see how many ones pop up. Well, Rose Winston said spooky yes. 110. Tatum Pancakes does not want. Tatum. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna feel bad for Tatum. Let's see here. Bingus. Sky says yes. Spooky. How long we on? For about like an hour and a half or an hour. Chewable water. Welcome. First time chatter. Everyone keep an eye on chewable water. What is that? Whoa. That's cool. You took like a picture of the actual scene. Is Kiwi staying? No, Kiwi will not join us in the back rooms, unfortunately. It's okay. You do you. Thank you, Tatum. No back rooms, please. Who's in the back room? That's Small, one of the moderators. That's helping me draw some things. I'll draw the next. Oh my gosh. That makes a rainbow. Did you know that, Small? Now it will make a rainbow here, I think. Or do you have to leave? Do you have to leave it there for a while? I forget how it works exactly. Are you washing? Am I stinky or something? I will draw the next word. Did you say yes? Oh my god.
No.
Okay. Stalker Kiwi likes to hide and to be safe and stuff, so they like to hide in the background sometimes. Let me see the next prompt is. This will not be easy to draw, but I'll use a themed color that might be helpful. I'm giving you tips or secrets or something. Start the round. How do I draw this? Oh, I messed up. I grabbed the window again. There we go. Put it up there. I don't see how many of you got it. That was like a chick. That's a beba chicken. I think that's the correct term, right? Chick? Is there another term for a beba chicken? Yeah, chick. Okay, good. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Something that happens also in the spring. Lots of beba chickens. Beba chickens!
I think you can do a poll if you want him to.
You want to do a poll, Small?
Sure.
Is that what you said, though? I want to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sandman was saying he can do a poll if you want.
Sure, Sandman. If you could do a poll of, like, back rooms, I'm just curious as a percentage. I think there's at least 2 people that don't want it, though. I will erase my beautiful art. Goodbye, art. Show me the round scores. 12 people got it. Maybe the hint actually helped. I'll read the first 3 places. First place is Muddy Blues for Chick. Grumpy Lycan is second place for Chick. And a third place, there's 2 people. Lucky number 13 points is Paige Mustang and Rose Winsome. Good job to both of you. Listen, everybody, is this stream really scuff? And oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like I have almost no content. I tried my best. You know, earlier I was trying to do the puzzle thing, Small. Oops, that was too high. I want to do it 50%. 50%, roughly. I was trying to figure this thing out. Then we can see what I'm doing. I don't remember. Oh, it's in the Discord too, isn't it? Never mind. Before I started streaming, I was playing with the puzzle, like one of them I was getting confused on. Let's look at the next word. If I yell, does it help? Did I miss anything other than Pictionary? No. Featuring Rat? No. Poll is at the top, Beans. Let's see the poll. I think I can see it live being chosen. Actually, 100% so far have voted. 10 people have voted yes. Yes, please. Where's Tatum Pancakes? No. Tatum, do you not believe in voting? You gotta vote. It's important. Maybe not in Twitch polls, but normal voting is good. 11 people want to go to the back rooms. There we go. There's one. That's probably Tatum Pancakes. Wait, I missed the poll. It's still going on, I think. Or is it over already? I can't tell. Yeah, there are 2 people. Okay. 12 people yes, 2 people no so far. Okay. I did the same thing the other day. I knew my vote would mess with the poll, and I didn't vote. No, Paige, you should vote. It doesn't matter if it messes with the stuff. It's fun. Whoop. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to be, what would it be, a corporate saying? Disruptive, synergy? No, you want to be disruptive or something like that. That's a corporate speak, I think, for innovations or something. You changed to no. Thank you, Tammy Beans, I think. It isn't showing. I'm complicated though. It's okay, no worries. I will pull up the next word though, and Small's welcome to draw it if they want. I feel like I'm commanding though.
You're fine.
Okay, cool. If you ever don't feel like it, just say, pass, Ziggbee. No, thank you. Just yell it at me. I'll try to write this. This one might be a hard one to draw. I'm gonna have to do it slow because I don't want it to like mess up the letters I'm trying to draw. That's good. Is that pretty clear?
Yeah.
Awesome. I'll put this over here. Boop. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. And I will start the round scores, or round. Show me what you got. I'll just be out here in the garden. I'm dying. Listen, I didn't mean to do that, Small. I promise you I did not mean to do that. Thank you for not saying anything. Small, did you know what I did? I
do not. I have no idea what you're doing.
I went to the back and said, I'm gonna go hang out in the garden. That's,
oh my god.
That's the word! Okay. I was always afraid I was gonna do that someday. I guess today is the day I did it. Where I said the actual word for the Pictionary. Let's go ahead and see. What do you mean, LOL cheater? To be fair, I was going to the garden. That's. Let's see the round scores for that. 11 people got it. First place is 2 people. Werewolf Billy. Werewolf Billy, did you pick up on my awkward moment? Rose Winsome also first place. Taylor is second place. Hello, Taylor. Third place is Hey Fuzzy. Good job. Good job. Cursed Pictionary today. Hide the scores. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom. I'm like throwing stars everywhere. I think people like that though. There you go. Get some stars for you. Ooh. Oh, the poll came in too. Let's see. The finalize, I guess, the cooldown. It says yes, please, with the 14 that wanted to do it. That's a 78%. That's more than majority, everybody. So you're gonna have to deal with it. Oh, gee, goodness. Welcome back. Thank you, Jerry Smith. Welcome back to you. I don't. It says you're the first time chatter, Jerry Smith. What awkwardness did I miss? I miss all the fun. Alicia, no, I wrote the word garden for a Small to draw. And I was trying to think like, oh, I'll just hang out in the background. Like, I better go farther back. And I said, I'm going to hang out in the garden. I just gave away the word, not intentionally. Then I didn't know what to do. But thankfully, Small didn't hear me, didn't react. So that helped, I think. Boing, 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 boing. I'll probably do the next word. Next word. Next prompt. That's a no, we're not doing that one. We'll do this one. Woo! Wait, where's the other? I want the red pencil. I'll keep your garden. Is that okay, Small? I'm gonna use your garden.
Yeah.
I'm gonna add to it. Start the round. I gotta just face the camera, right? It's kind of like that. I think there's like a head though, isn't there? Like that. It's Ladybug. It's the bug that's kind of like a circle, almost like an oval, and has little polka dots. I think the polka dots are white, and it's red, and it eats the aphids off the plants. The aphids eat the plant, and the ladybugs eat the aphids, which is why gardeners sometimes use them to reduce the aphid infestation in their gardens. Let's see how we did for that one. Show the round scores. We have 12 people, one more than last word. First place for Ladybug is Peachring Rat. Second place is Muddy Blues. Third place, sorry. Sorry, excuse me. Third place, I think I need to get more water. Third place is Metal Pig. Metal Pig. Welcome, Metal Pig. I don't believe I've ever said your name before. I'm gonna grab some water really quick. Oh my gosh, the kiwis give me a little bit of a scare. Okay, let's take this to open this. I added the space. I'm sorry, Werewolf Billy. Sometimes the words have spaces, sometimes they don't. That's why there's a thing called Spacegate. Hashtag Spacegate. I think it's one word though, I think. The scores. I'm gonna read the chat too, see what's going on here. Everyone's behaving. Sandman's yes, Spacegate. There it is. Hi, Ziggbee. Hello. Hello, Knight. Knight, it's almost like Mayor Golden. Hello. First time chatter, welcome. How are you doing? How are you doing? Sorry, I'm just saying random stuff. Doesn't use spaces? No, because let's see here. Oh, good. Okay. Woo, 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 woo. I'll also erase my word. I want to see what Small's doing. Are you trying to solve the puzzle? Yours was very close to the answer. I don't think it was the absolute answer though. Yes, Small is playing with the puzzle. We will do the next word. I'll probably let Small do the last word. We'll do one more word and probably Small will do a word, and then we can go to the back rooms for a little bit. Woo! Which sounds sus, honestly. People are calling me Captain Backrooms on some TikTok stream. That sounds very suspicious. Captain Backrooms at your service. Let's go. Okay, let's go. Let me look at the next word. Next prompt. Oh, we redid this one. Oh, I shouldn't say that. Oh, that's a new one. Now I'm gonna change it. Oh, I can do this one. Okay. Okay, I'll add to the picture. Start the round. I guess I'll paint from this picture too. I'll paint from this angle. Let's see how we did. Y'all got it really fast too. Y'all got it really fast. Show. Well, the answer is of course a little blob. That's the answer. Little blob. No, just kidding. That's a puddle. It's a puddle of water. Show me the round scores for puddle. 10 of you. I can't add. 9 of you got it correct. Very good job. First place, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4 people. That's impressive. Tatum Pancakes, Muddy Blues, Rose Winsome, Werewolf Billy. Good job, all first place. Second place, there's 2 people, Tammy Beans and Peachring Rat. Third place is the Sandman. Hello, the Sandman. I said hello to you again. Is that okay? Also, Noah and Paige Mustang on there too. The scores. Didn't I do this one? Let me think for a moment. Processing in my ferret brain. I think we did that one. Did we do that? No, we didn't do that one. No, wait. Did we do that one? No, we. I don't know. Where is it? Do I have the pink? Oh, here. I'll get the pink one. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, ready for the next one? And then we'll do one more. I was dishonest. I'm gonna do 2, and then Small could do last one if Small wants to. Okay. Woo woo woo. Someone actually has a slime emote for reals. Like so many emotes. Strawberry Delight actually has the slime emote. Yo, first place gang, high five. I like that. Okay, where's my pencil go? I'm trying not to lose my pencils. I'm gonna just keep adding to this picture because it kind of relates to one another. Start the round. I'm making like lots of messes there. The answer is worm. Worms are good. Well, there's some bad ones, but the ones that eat dirt, those ones are very good for your garden because they make the dirt have more good stuff that the plants like Gatorade. It's what plants crave or something like. No, I'm just kidding. Don't give your plants Gatorade. But the worms do make the dirt better, which is why gardeners like worms. Well, the correct worms. I don't know what they're actually officially called. I'm a worm. No, I guess I'm kind of wormy a little bit. It's got electrolytes. Thank you, Muddy Blues. Muddy Blues knows the reference too. It's got electrolytes. No, plants do not want electrolytes, but you give them water from the toilet. It's good. Okay, let's see how the scores are there. Show the round scores. We have 7 beings that got the answer for worm. We have Sandman at 15 points for that one, and then it drops to 5 points. Sandman got it very early, sniped that, in fact. Oh, did I think some subscribers? I just heard a subscriber.
Gifted Imrom 75 a subscription. Luna Bean 74 gifted a tier 1 sub to Imrom 75. They have given 4 gift subs in the channel.
Oh, thank you so much, Luna Bean, for that gifted sub. That was very kind of you. You gave to I'm Rome 75 and gifting a total of 4 subs, it said. Thank you very much for that. Thank you for being a supporter and giving Beans some subscriptions. Haven't been such language in chat. Paige Mustang, worms, oh gosh, in the soil and make it more luxurious. Yes. It's fancy soil. That's true, it is fancy soil when the worms are in there. First place for that Sandman, second place is Paige Mustang, and third place is Noah. Good job, very good job. Fancy soil. That's a nice way of putting it, fancy soil. I like that too. Hide the round scores. Let me see the next prompt, what it is. Is that gonna be hard? Did I ever make that sound before? Okay, I think this has 2 words. Let me write them. I'll write them out. Let's see here. Mo, you want to try to do the last word?
Okay.
I think this is, I don't know if, is there a UK equivalent to this or no? Is that about right? The top one?
Yeah, we typically use this one.
The bottom one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I thought it was just American. Because it sounds like an American type word. You're all ready? Start the round. Good luck, everybody. Let's see if anyone can snipe it before even small draws. Based on our conversation.
I need to remove this.
Oh, sorry. Move some of that. And then the other ones, where's how to move the wormies? There we go. Woo! I'm trying to entertain them with dances. I'll read the chat too, see what's going on. Yeah, I have been mixing it with different things since yesterday. It's good with juice. Wait, what have you been mixing? Page Mustang? I'm drinking coconut water mixed with soda. Oh, that's interesting.
You know, this is like such a simple thing to draw that it's like ridiculously hard.
I think it also is hard because it's yellow.
Wait, can they not see it?
They can see it, but it's just kind of hard a little bit.
I'll change color.
Hopefully I have the word in there right too. Let me look at the word. I spelled it directly as I saw it. Oh, yeah, so that would be right. That would be right. I'll have to figure it out. I think the problem too, this is not a word I've ever used before, ever. And it's not super common. It is something more towards like springtime, even the summertime would be something. I'm not giving any hints, but no one asked for hints, but I want to give hints so bad, but I'm not going to. And don't worry, Small, it is a hard one.
It is, like, it's such a simple thing, but drawing it just doesn't seem to work.
Wait, what? Oh, allow that. Woo. I'm curious. I want to see if Peach Ring gets on there too. I think they did the other equivalent, but they did spaces. I'm not sure if it had spaces. It should be sandals, that's plural, or it should be flip-flop. I'm not sure if the flip-flops has a space in it. I can't check unless I go into the computer and stuff and do fancy stuff. But let's see how many got it right. Let's see his pages on there, because they said flip-flop with a space. Show me the round scores. Oh, only Paige got it. So you have to say sandals with plural because it's more than one. Let's see here. I think flip-flop counted with a space too. That was an odd one. Small's cheating. How is Small cheating, Tatum? Tatum is trash talking.
She's just mad.
Aw, don't be mad, Tatum. So for first place, the person who sniped it was Paige Mustang, the first one to say a flip-flop. Some of you said sandal with just singular versus plural. Only the plural worked. Second place we have Muddy Blues, and third place is Werewolf Billy. Werewolf Billy. Good job, everybody. I'll show you the winner for this week's Pictionary in just a moment. I want to read chat to make sure everything's cool, or are we having fights in here? That's true, Paige Mustang, but the first one was not. Had two. Do they call them flip-flops in the UK? That's what I was wondering too. I was asking Small that, in Small's, if I understood correctly, they do use flip-flop for the word. I thought that was just the States possibly, because I remember seeing a TikTok of this woman that does American versus the UK, and we call it flip-flops because they flip and flop. Like,
Wow.
American wording. No, there's a TikToker that does things like that. It's like being dramatic about how silly the wording is. My mom calls them. That's not. I don't think that's right. Rose Winsome, your mom calls them thongs. What? Like thongs for your feet? We call it a blinker. A blinker because they blink. Yeah, that's on a car. That's right. Salmon knows the exact TikToker too. They call that. They are called that, Paige Mustang? What do you mean they're called that? Blinky lights go blink. That's right, Tatum. That's what we call them. We gotta turn your blinkers on when you make turns because they blink. Or you could call them tickers. They tick, 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 tick. I think they're all required to make sound, right? That ticking sound, that dun, 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 tick 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 tick. But yeah, blinker is probably more appropriate. Metal Pig, I am not gonna yeet because the only thing I have to yeet is the puzzle pieces, and I think Small's trying to figure out the puzzle. Put this over here. Woo. Let's see who the winner of this week's Pictionary is. I don't know who it is. I want to say Tatum Pancakes, but I don't think Tatum Pancakes made top score repeatedly. So it could be anyone's possible could get it. Ooh, we'll get it. Show me the grand scores. Oh, this is a new one. Kind of close at 69 points. 69 points is Muddy Blues. Good job, Muddy Blues. Good job. You are the weekly Pictionary champion this week. I give you claps. And second place, a few points behind, Rose Winsome. And then a few more points behind, Tatum Pancakes, third place. I'll mention everybody though. Paige Mustang, Werewolf Billy, Sandman, Petring Rat, Grumpy Lycan, Tama Beans, Hey Foozy, Noah, Metal Pig, Bingus, hello Bingus, Taylor, Carby, Crab Mother Mickey, Cat Roster, Strawberry Delight. Good job, everybody. Good job. And thank you for playing too. I hope you like playing Pictionary. I guess if you didn't enjoy it, you probably wouldn't play it or show up at all. Whee! Muddy Blues. Wait, Muddy Blues. I don't recall seeing your username anytime recently in Discord. Are you in the Discord? Are you in the Discord? Oh, if not, I'm probably gonna DM you on Twitch. No, not at all. Let's see here. I'm not in the Discord. Muddy Blues! How can I give you weekly Pictionary champion? Well, if you join, I'll give it to you. How about that for this week? For this week only, for a limited time. You were going to ham. Okay, that one. Wait, let me see if I remember how to use it correctly. Have you ever heard the expression small ham? Like, I'm going to ham, or oh, wait, I really hammed it?
No.
Oh my gosh, you're throwing places at me. You're getting so mad. Okay, never mind. I don't know if that's a common expression though. Has anyone heard that expression? Like, I'm gonna ham it or something? I'm going to ham. Everyone is missing my comment. What is your comment, Strawberry Delight? What's going on? What's going on? I'm gonna go ham. Tammy Beans! You didn't have to do that. Honestly, Tammy Beans. Tammy Beans, thank you for the very generous direct tip. That's very, very generous of you. On TikTok, as you know, that's like 4 galaxies. Thank you, Tammy Beans. I know we're not on TikTok, but still, thank you for that. Well, how many subs does that equate to? Like, yeah, never mind. just hammed it. Is that a saying though? Ham. It's just trying harder at something. What's up, Small?
Redeems.
Oh, redeems. Boings from Tammy Beans. Can I jump off the table?
Boing.
Boing. And then you can't see it. Boing. 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 Levitation. There's an invisible square under me. I moved it back down. Boing. Just bouncing around the room. Yeet something. Well, technically Small did, Hanny, but I will yeet the shapes on the floor. Yeet! There you go. And also a dance. I don't want to dance Strawberry Delight, but I will. I just have to. Oh, Wolf Boy, what? as hardworking, Hufflepuff. Yes, I understand the word. Is that where it comes from? Harry Potter? Great job. Yes, good job. Good job. Very good job. Now let's go find a place and get scared.
Let's go.
Can everyone hear the VR chat? And they can't hear the VR chat buttons. That's okay. Back rooms. Let's see, which one? Oh, that looks probably terrifying. There's 25 people there. Which one have I gone to? Let me check, compare it to the one I've gone to. It was that one, so not that one. Ooh, that looks kind of interesting. Let's do the one with the creepy glowy face in the background.
Let's do it.
Drop the portal. Woo!
Woo.
VR chat's like super loud. Calm down, VR chat. Where's the be right back message? There it is. Might just turn VR chat off, honestly. I can't control the things until I'm there. Thank you for the Doritos, Strawberry Delight. Strawberry, that's okay. I send you Doritos anyway. Thank you for the Doritos. Did I miss your comment again? Let's see here. I see you saying to Taylor that's cute and okay. I see you doing adorable Ziggbee hugs. Boop, 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 boop. I see beans now too. Thank you for the beans. Everybody, prepare your... This doesn't look like the back rooms. Wait, what? Is this the... Okay, let me get the camera. This looks suspicious. This is... Wait, let me look... Can I look at what place this is? World... Where does it say the world that I'm in? Of Avatar World, the back... Yeah, it says the back room. This is weird. I'll put the camera up, and hopefully if Small hasn't joined me, I'll go ahead and invite Small. Whoop, whoop, whoop. This does not look like the back rooms, but maybe this is like an in-between point where we go to the back rooms. Also, plus Small, it might take her a while to load the place. It was kind of a big download too. Woo, woo. I'm still gonna read anything here. Oh, there's like lots of text up there. Let's go up there. Let's just check. Over here it says unlocked checkpoints appear here. So we haven't unlocked any checkpoints. So it might be like a cool puzzle. It might be spooky though. I'm gonna put the camera behind me so you can follow me up the stairs. Boop, 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 boop. Curse walk. Boop, 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 boop. Oh my gosh, what is all these names up here and stuff? Want to meet up with other people? No. Just you playing the map gives me so much joy. Well, I'm happy to give you joy. I'll play the map a little bit unless it's too scary and I want to quit. The music. What's this over here? Special thanks. What is that code? Should I be worried about that code? I don't know what that code is for. I'll go back down and I'll try to invite a Small. Woo! It's like a spaceship almost. It's like a spaceship here. You people indeed. Yes, I like to enjoy watching people on the rare occasion, usually from the video format in the moving picture box called the television. And that's about it. That's the extent I will do that. I'm worried about Small though. Small, I will send you a request invite. I can't send you an invite yet, Small, because you're in some kind of in-between worlds, possibly. I'll wait a little bit longer to see if it works. I just heard something. Would like to join you. Thank you, Small, for sending it. It bypasses that weird thing where I can't send an invite. Did I hear a creepy sound? I should turn down the audio. That's what I was gonna do. Hey, what's going on here? Mike, what is this? It might be cheating if I have it all muted though. It's just Small. What do you mean? What did you eat today, Ziggbee? Well, I had a wrap. No, you know the rat sandwich? The rat sandwich. I had the rat sandwich. No, a wrap. Like a sandwich, instead of bread, it's wrapped in a tortilla, like a burrito.
Ziggbee.
Oh, you made it. What's up?
I'm here, I got lost.
It's okay. It's all right. This doesn't look like the back rooms, but this might be a hub place where we have a save point, because it says checkpoint here. And up there's a lot of stuff about giving the creator joy by just playing the map, which is delightful. And I think we just, I don't actually, where do we go? Do we go through this door? Actually, I need to get the camera too. Beep, beep, beep. Come with me, everybody.
No.
To a world of very scary.
Up here.
Can you click on the map? Maybe it's up the stairs. Or is this a door? This is a door, I think. Wait, is this a door? What does it say? Maintenance room. What's this button? Mirror.
Ziggbee, I found a...
Is it up the stairs?
Yeah.
Okay. Whoop. Whoop. Where is it though?
Press to begin.
Oh. Oh. Everything I...
Oh, now the door's opening down there.
Whoa! We're missing the fun! I can't jump over the railing. Oh my gosh. It goes directly into the back. Whoa, rooms. Hello, back rooms. Hello, small.
Don't mind me, I'm just pulling my phone out so I can see if anything's creeping up behind me.
Oh, that's I wish I could do that. I guess, should I follow you or something? I don't know.
If you want to.
Okay. I don't want to lose you. Boop, 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 boop. Let's see. This place is kind of nice, actually. Did it flicker or was that my headset?
I didn't see a flicker,
okay,
but
good.
it might have been.
That would be creepy to do, to put flickers in. This place is... How huge is this place? Maybe it's just like a maze. We're going like one direction roughly, I think. Oh my gosh. Didn't run into the walls. Oh, I see. Is that something? I see something dark. Like something's out of place. That could be a mistake in the graphics. Like they textured it wrong. Is it a wall I can walk through? No. Oh yeah, everybody, watch out! Very spooky. This is like just walking through hallways. Oh my goodness.
Well, I feel like we need to find something.
Progress, yeah.
Because it said something about checkpoints.
I'll look this way. I don't see anything.
Found another weirdly textured wall. What?
Nothing. It's just like a whole bunch of rooms and that's it. It really like made it seem like very exciting too when they pushed the button. I saw a flicker again. You push the button and all the lights turn red. It seemed very like thrilling and suspenseful, and then you get to the empty showroom floor of the furniture store that has no furniture. From like the 70s or 60s.
There's gotta be something for us to find, right?
Actually, yeah, there should be something. I've been to a furniture store with Mama Sib and Sib once, and it looked like it was from the past. Like you went in a time machine and went like to the, I don't know what time period it would be, like the 90s or 80s. But you found something? He said, oh.
No, this place is just a lot bigger than I thought it was. Wow.
What?
Yeah, I found something.
Oh. I wasn't sure if it was a scary thing.
It. Hello? Oh, can I not touch it?
It says use.
I don't get to use it.
Well, it says use, but I can't really do anything with it. Huh.
Maybe it's just hair.
Was there a raven?
Are we going the right way, glowy thing? Are we supposed to go this way?
Yeah.
This way, maybe?
What is... Yeah, it is something, so at least you know we're going somewhere different.
I'm just a little guy.
Is that to ward off scary things?
I may be little, but I'll still eat you.
Ooh. You can't teleport to people, right, that are far away in VR chat? I don't think you can. 'Cause I'm afraid if I lose you, I won't be able to find you ever again in this place.
That's fair. This place is huge.
No. I wonder if there's any. Did I see something? No, I didn't. You're going in a circle. That's a circle, Small. I think we were going this way. I wonder if there's any food in the back rooms. Like if a person actually got stuck in the back rooms.
Canonically, there is. You can find things like almond water.
You're joking. No.
No, that's an actual thing.
This almost makes me think of coconut water almost. Where's the buffet? Oh, the buffet would be sweet. I don't know how food would be like if you did encounter a buffet, which I don't think you can encounter that, would the food be still good? Like just kept like in stasis?
Wow, I found another one.
Oh my god, you scared me.
I'm sorry, I like glowy things.
Thought we were in danger. Use it? Oh, maybe when you click on it, that's the point. I just like stuttered a whole bunch of times. That's probably.
Wait, maybe.
Wait, if there's a point, doesn't that mean you can be defeated or destroyed or sent back somehow?
I think so.
We've just been luckily avoiding it this whole time if something's chasing us.
I'm just that good. It's scared of me.
Don't eat backroom food. Why, Unknown Muse? It might be preserved for indefinitely. It might be like in stasis until you approach it, and as a conscious viewer, it becomes real again. Does that make sense? You know how the observable, something about observable universe, something. Ziggbee, I'm in danger. Yes, I am.
This looks new.
Let's see. Oh, it does look. It looks like a dressing room, like a whole bunch of dressing room rooms. Ooh, this is like fractals. I would not like to be in a fractal dimension. That would drive me a little loony. Whoa. Who's that? Hydrate? Thank you, Sky. I'll try to get a hydrate in a moment.
You can do it now, Finn,
Oh,
so
thank you. I'll get the hydration thing.
I'll wait for you.
Do you have some kind of drink, Small?
Yes, I have energy drink.
Oh my god. What color?
In my defense, it's 1 a.m.
You're not supposed to be drinking energy drinks at 1 a.m. though. Isn't it like drinking coffee and stuff?
People don't have to know, okay?
Delicious. Is it the green one in the black and green can?
No, it's not Monster. It's called Emerge.
I think I've heard that before, I think. There's like a couple of them. Thank you for the hydrate.
Okay. this
Wait,
way?
were we in a fractal place? Where'd it go?
It's over there.
You think we passed it or went back into the normal spot?
No, I went in a straight line.
Oh.
We came out in a different place.
Boing, boing, boing. You can do boings like anytime you want to. Boing, boing. I'm looking behind me too, just in case.
I just keep turning around to make sure I haven't lost you.
Thank you,
Eden.
Small, for not losing me.
I may be speedy, but I still gotta protect boss man.
I'm not boss though. Boing, 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 boing.
Whoa! I found a door?
Ooh, should we click it? Oh,
Whoa.
just instantly clicked it. Check. Oh, this is a checkpoint.
Found a checkpoint. Run?
What?
Oh no!
What? What do you mean run?
I clicked the checkpoint button and it said run.
What are we running from? Is something coming? I'm running backwards. I want to see what's coming.
I don't think anything's coming.
Why is there a flashlight? My face is like a flashlight.
Whoa. Oh, uh-oh.
What? You see something?
There's a siren.
There's a what?
I hear like a siren.
Well, I have the audio off, so I don't have to hear scary stuff.
But I'm not seeing anything. Oh my gosh!
Oh my gosh!
That actually spooked me.
Oh my god! Where should I put the camera? I'm gonna lock the camera briefly because I'm not sure what this is over here.
It's a bed.
You are not dreaming. Yes, I am. It teleports you back to the original place. Okay. Oh my gosh. Did I scare everybody though? Now I feel bad. Oh, I didn't know what to expect. Yeah, me too. So based on...
I just heard a siren and I heard you and I thought you ran away. I was like, where did you go? So I turned around and walked around a corner and it just came out of nowhere.
Crappy, like, why do you
I
say
was
this
like,
is
why
great?
is this siren going on?
Okay, put ones in chat if you like this. Put zeros in chat if you did not like that jump scare. Grumpy like instantly puts one. Noah, Muse. I only see one so far. Everybody likes jump scares? For reals?
People like it. People like the spooks.
Thank you, Tweety Sweetie, for subscribing with Prime. Thank you for that. Okay, if you like it, we'll play a little bit more. I'll put the camera back behind
People
me.
like the spooks.
I didn't expect that. It was like right on top of me. I thought it was gonna come from the place we pushed the button, like where it said run.
So did I. I was staring like, why is this going off? Where is this thing? Why are we running?
So I guess if we go back there, you want to like, I don't know if it's in the same place where it's actively moving. Do you want to just run to the side or, I don't know.
Yeah, we run forwards and then possibly to the right.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's try that. Okay, now it says run. Okay, I'm gonna follow you, Small. Is there a door to the right or left? You said right, possibly, right? I don't see any
Yeah, I
doors.
said right.
Oh my gosh. But there is no like doors that... Okay, run to the right, maybe. It came from the left.
Oh, no, it's coming.
Oh, there it is. Hello. No, it's running really fast. Oh, it's gonna get me. I want to see behind me so bad. Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay, hello. No. I want to look behind me so bad, but I think it slows me down.
Kind of vibe though.
Oh my gosh. It might jump in front of my screen just to warn you everybody if it catches me. Because it may want to do like a forced jump scare? Go around the corner. If you hug the corner, that might give us a little distance, but I can't tell. I'm not looking behind us anymore. Keeps you running. We're probably looking for a safe area, possibly. I assume, or possibly a checkpoint. Hug the wall. Don't run back like that. No. I don't know. You stopped briefly small. You backpedaled. I was like, oh no.
Because that was a dead end.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Try again. All right. We got this. Maybe.
Let's go.
If you see it, let me know. Like, say, I saw it, so I know it's... try not to look back at it. So this is just a straight hallway, though, this part. And so the best way to go is right, because I think it's to the left waiting. Yeah, it's waiting there. So that's what triggers it. So we have a chance to figure this maze. If you can remember, kind of putting a lot of pressure on you. If you remember where that dead end was, don't go down the dead end. Actually, kind of like it was down here, wasn't it? Go farther, then you made a right, and then it was left, possibly. I'm not looking behind me, everybody, because it is chasing us. And I think if I look back, I'll lose some distance. Hug the wall there. I think it was this way, right? This is one with the dead end, possibly, or no? Small's being quiet. Oh, please be the right way. Is that the right way, Small? How is Small getting farther than me? Are you sure you want to go that way, Small? Okay. She's making choices confidently. I'll just trust that confidence blindly. It's fine. You could be assured that thing is probably following me. I don't know how close it is, though. Oh, no. Is this a dead end? No, is it coming? No, can we get... Okay, split up and... I was wondering if one of us could get aggro.
No, I think we both have separate entities.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. Boo, that's lazy programming. Boo to that. It's less scary now, though. We kind of understand how it works.
I'm like vibing to the music. The music's great when it's chasing us.
Okay. I'll follow you.
You ready?
Yeah. So this one's just a matter of like solve the puzzle and you're being chased. I wish it would like go different routes so it doesn't directly chase you, so you have a chance to possibly lose it. Would be nice. Woo woo woo. You're listening to the music of the zone. I'm listening to like chill music that's like lo-fi type. Very calm, peaceful music. This is the... Okay, we got this far, and then we made a right, I think. And then you made an additional right and went down that hallway. Or something like that. Made a right here. And I think up here last time you made a right. And then a left. But that made it... That was a dead end, possibly? It's right behind... Wait. Can you get stuck on... Oh, no, it's not stuck on the wall. It just keeps going.
Not that way, not that way, not that way.
I don't know if I can make it. Let's keep running. You okay? Maybe I should put the camera behind me so that I can watch it. Oh, is this gonna be a dead end? Oh, wait. Okay. Oh, this is not like a circle. Don't be a circle, please. Oh, no. Okay. Go left or right. Left or right, Small. I'm just yelling at you. I'm sorry.
Oh no.
No, it's right there with this big booty.
We got so far.
Booty monster got me.
We got so far though.
Yeah, that was way far. Hopefully we weren't just going in circles. I think it was progressing. I'm gonna put the camera front facing so you can see it behind me if you want. If you want, you have no choice if you're watching the stream, honestly. So close. Boing, 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 boing. Okay. Okay. Tell me when you're ready and I'll go. I'll follow.
I'm ready.
Okay, go for it. Should probably go like this. I get you a little bit forward so I can see where you're going. There we go. Okay. So following you. I don't see it yet behind me. Oh, there it is. Yep, it's coming. Woo, woo, woo. Hi, Ziggbee. Hello, just for J2. Welcome. We're just running from shadow monsters in labyrinths. I was told there was buff minotaurs down here, and there's not. I'm very disappointed. There's just scary shadow monsters. They went faster than you, Small. Oops. There we go. Aren't there supposed to be like minotaurs in the labyrinths? Woo, 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 woo. No. Jeez. Making a right here. And then I forgot which way is the dead end up here. You want to go this way, Small? Okay. That's where you okay? You going this way? Oh, it's like right behind me.
Oh.
Ah! No, 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 no. Stop running after me, you creeps. Come on, run, run, run. Can I go? Where can I go? Where can I go? Is this a dead end? No, it's not. It goes around the corner. It goes around the corner. I'm sorry, Small, it got you. It's probably gonna get me pretty soon, shortly too, I would assume. Okay, I feel like I'm going in a circle. I'll go right. Maybe, because I felt like a circle. No, it's trying to get me. That's where he came from, I thought. That looks like it could be a dead end. This could be a dead end too. No, you were so close. Get away from me. Oh my gosh, how many rooms? Oh my gosh, okay. Oh, it got me, Small.
Welcome back.
Yeah. How do I click the bed? There we go. Let's go give it maybe 1 or 2 more tries. Get away from Ziggbee. It's okay, Page Mustang. They can't hurt us. They can just be spooky and creepy. Creepies. Nigel Hot Dog, thank you for subscribing.
Nigel Hot Dog just resubscribed for 8 months.
For the 8 months. Can you join, Sky? No, I don't usually let people join streams and stuff. Small is an exception because Small is one of my moderators. OGs from 2 years ago almost. Probably 2 years ago, just about. I'm ready when you are.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Let's go.
It only feels like it's been like a year, honestly, streaming, but it's been way longer than that. Oh, I'm sorry, Sky. Typically, I don't think I can't speak for the streamers, but I don't think streamers commonly allow people to just join them because there's a risk of them saying stuff that can get them banned from the platform. And you have no idea of determining who you could trust. Unless they've been around for 2 years, like Small. Some of my other moderators here are OGs of my streams. Boing, 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 boing. Yeah, they do sometimes. Once in a great while. I always get anxiety when I see them do that too. Like you have a streamer that invites people that are sometimes random. It's like, oh, that's gonna be risky. Sometimes some streamers have people that have been subscribed for a long time too, possibly. But yeah, I'm too scared to do that stuff. It's chasing behind me. What's your favorite soda? I used to love a regular Pepsi. I really do. I like it. It makes you think of Britney Spears in that weird interview. But I liked regular Pepsi, but I moved to Pepsi Zero because supposedly it has 0 calories. It's probably just as bad though, honestly. What? It's a sacrifice. It's better with a few friends. Not if it's individually following people. That's not the same monster. Like the one following me is not the same one following Small, which is kind of like a not cool. That's where it's like client side versus global. I'm just following Small. I'm not even thinking. Boom. Boom. We're in this corner. No thoughts, just follow. Exactly. It makes it easier too to have someone else that's thinking. It's pretty far behind me, so I have some distance, so that's good. We have a lot more time, I think, to look around, as long as we don't hit any dead ends. I'm worried that we might be running in circles sometimes. Whenever I play video games, I usually do that. I just run in circles sometimes. Stop for a selfie? No! It's getting a little bit closer. It's getting a little bit closer. Uncomfortably close. Okay. No! Jump through the wall! We'll give it one more try. I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna choose a random place to go. Small. I'll go my own direction, and see if one of us can maybe get to the end. You could maybe, yeah. Split up. That's always the best scenario too, right? In scary things. Good luck, Small. Good luck.
You too.
Okay, I need to pay attention now, everybody. All right. Let's do this. Isn't there a theory, always hung the right wall? No, that doesn't help because it'll just bring me to a dead end. And if you get a dead end, it's basically over. Let me take a little peek at our friend. I shouldn't take a peek up. It's right there. Yep. So usually we go forward. I'm going to go right this time. I think we usually go left. And left. No, then I'm getting turned around again. Forward, let's go. I want to go down this hall pretty bad. Yeah, let's go down this hall. Where should I go? Left or right? When in doubt, go left, possibly. Actually, I can probably only go left here. That works. Go here. Now if I get a choice, do I want to do right or left? I think I want to do right if there's a right option coming up. I have a desire to go right if it's available. I'll go right. Do I have enough time to switch if it's okay? Okay. Now at this, if there's a direction, I'm not sure which one to go. I want to go down that hallway so bad. Maybe I should have. No, I'm gonna go into the darkness. Should I go there? I want to go. Oh my gosh! I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't looking behind me. I want to try one more time. I gotta try one more time. I felt like I was uncovering new areas, possibly. Let's try again. I like the way. See that one hallway I wanted to go down? I should have probably went down that hallway because I had a better feeling than the way I was going. Can you use your gut instincts to figure out where to go? I'm not sure. I'm just not gonna look. I'll waste distance. I'm gonna go right. I went right. And then I think I went left immediately, possibly. And then I was like, I need to go right now. And then down here I went left. I can't believe I'm remembering some of this. So down here, there should be only a left turn and no right turn, I believe. Right, okay, so I remember that correctly. Then I went down this hallway and I went right, I think. I'm sorry, I can't see chat at the moment. I'm just running. If you're saying anything. So I'm pretty sure I went right. So there should be 2 options possibly. And I went the right way. The right way. I don't know if that's the right way. And then when I went down here, I think I had a hallway and I wanted to go down it. This one right here. I wanted to go down this hallway. And I could go down this way or the end. I'll go down this one. That was a 50-50 feeling of like, either one would have possibly been okay. Now I don't know what to do when we get down to the end of this. It could be a dead end though. Let's see. It's awfully dark. Oh, it's a dead end. Listen, can we talk about this? Listen, maybe we can be friends. Ziggbee trying to explore. I want to do it again. One more time. I don't even know if that's the right way. Small, you having any luck so far? Small, okay? Small, you okay? Let's see here. I'll put it to my back like that. Keep going. Okay. I'll try to remember the way I went. There was that one choice. I had a choice and I chose a dead end. This kind of maze is very unforgiving. You can't make one mistake. I guess it's a memory game and you remember the correct path. So I went straight, right, I think left, then left, then right. Then at the end, there's only one direction, which was left, I believe. I'm like trying to brute force this maze. There should only be a left up ahead. Oh, look at the ceiling. It's the same everywhere. And then what did I do? Oh, I went right? I think I then went right. I had choices and go right. Yeah, I think so. And then, oh, I'm forgetting. What was the next thing I did? Oh, I don't remember. Oh, right here. Go right here. And then I chose to go that left direction. I want to go straight. Is that just a wall? This looks like a loop. Oh no, it's 2 dead ends. No! No! I'll give you grunty kicks. Oh my gosh. I'm a Pepsi fan too, but Coke Zero is really tasty. That's interesting you say that, Tammy Beans, because like Sib likes Coke Zero. That's what he prefers to drink. But I can't drink Coke Zero. Like it has a really weird taste to me. That's why I drink a Pepsi Zero. And I think they changed the recipe of Pepsi Zero and improved it significantly. Get it, Ziggbee? I try to. That was 2 dead ends. I don't hear Small anymore. Small, where are you?
Oh, I'm still here. Just in the main room.
Did you make any progress?
No, we both ran to the same area, but from different directions.
Is that... What? Did you...
I found like a shortcut to get there.
I'll follow you if you found a shortcut to something that seems promising. The way I was trying to go repeatedly, I found 2 dead ends, so it's like, that's not correct. Sheesh.
See, I know this looks like a dead end, but just trust me on this one.
They do that on purpose. They make shadow areas so you can't see till you get there.
That's fair, honestly.
Oh, I wonder... No. If they were really cool... Or it would be nice if they had some kind of indicator, very, very subtle indicator of the correct path. But I don't know if there is one, aside from maybe the lights? Are the lights everywhere? Or just some places? Is that the solution?
I don't know.
The sound?
All I know is run.
I'm trying to have deep conversations here. I don't know. Which way has lights? Oh, I split up. I found a dead end. No, Spawn, good luck! I had a moment of weakness. I want to try again. I want to figure it out. I'm gonna brute force it. Boing, 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 boing. That's one of the awesome things of being...
No!
Oh my gosh. It gets you? Oh my gosh, I just paused and looked at it for a while. Why did I do that?
You trying to make friends with
I
it?
guess I am. That's I already did
I don't
that.
think it wants to be your friend, Ziggbee.
I could figure a way.
No, I think this wants to consume you.
Then I'll put it in a cage.
It wants your little ferret magic.
I'll put it in a shadow cage, and then it'll be my pet.
It doesn't want to share, though. It wants all of it.
It better be good. I will turn the lights on. Okay. I'm going this way again. I don't know why. So straight ahead, that's a dead... I'm in a different place, I think, small. So that's straight ahead over there is a dead end. Here we have one choice is left. That's fine. Usually I go... There you are. Why are you over there? What?
Yeah, go that way.
Is that what the shortcut you meant?
I guess so. We're both at the same place.
Okay.
So I'm assuming this has to be somewhat the right direction.
So for here, what I did is left, and then I went right, but there's a... The right is correct because left it was a dead end. Because that's where I think I... Did I?
Yeah, turn right here.
Yeah.
And then from there, I have no idea which way to go.
Well, then I've been here before, and what did I choose? I chose down there. I think both of those ways are dead ends, I believe. Or am I wrong? Did I go down this one before? Oh gosh, I don't remember.
Yeah, go down this one.
I'm not sure if I did this one. Please don't be a dead end.
I went down this one, but then I got
Okay,
lost.
I don't know which way to go now. I'm gonna go left. Oh, it's right there. Do not look back, Ziggbee. Dude, I can look at the screen. It looks so close. Please be the end of this maze. Whoever made this made it too big.
To be fair, the back rooms are supposed to be a place to get lost.
That makes sense. I'm gonna go right. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm gonna go left. There is so many. Unless we're going in circles. This is a lot of ways to go. Oh my gosh. I don't know where I am right now. Go left maybe? Is that a dead end? Let me through this wall! No! Okay. Are people getting bored of this yet? How long have I been streaming for? An hour and a half, roughly? I'm trying to run, Sammy. It gets me, though. Is everyone bored yet? I'm gonna keep doing it, because I want to solve it. Even if I get lucky... I may not be able to because they're... Well... Because it's so long I can't remember that many turns. At a certain point, it's like, I don't know where I am anymore.
Yeah, but even if you don't remember, if you play long enough, you're bound to find it eventually.
That's true. That's... Yes. Does the lights mean anything?
I remember the way we got there.
I'll just run and try again. I'm gonna try to figure out some of the lights.
Okie dokie.
Let's see here. Let's say the lights are telling us something, which it probably isn't, because I don't know if they thought that far. It would be cool if they did. So right now I see lights on the right side as this tunnel, and there's one at the end, so it wants you to go right. Right. So I see lights on the left side, I want to go left. I see lights on the right side, I'm going to go right. Let's see if this logic is helping me.
Oh wait, that might be a thing actually.
So then go right. Okay, there's a light on the right, so I want to go right.
Ziggbee, if you get this, you've got wrinkle brain.
Thank you. This one doesn't make sense though. There's ones on the right, but I passed a hallway with lights, so I don't know what to do in that scenario if that's the case.
Just follow the lights, I guess.
Okay, this is right. Lights on the right side, we want to go right. Lights on the right side again. Gotta run to the end of the hallway. Wait, is this a loop? Wait. This might be actually a loop.
I think we just went in a loop.
Okay, I know what to do with this loop. I have to keep running them to get away from it. But back there are some lights. We want to go down that tunnel. So, let me do this loop. When I get back over there, that hallway with the lights, we want to go down that one, I think.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I don't want to look at the screen or anything. I don't know how close...
I've split off from you.
No, don't do that. So I think this... Wait, go right, and then there's going to come a hallway to my left that has lights. We're going to take that. Now we should go right at the end of this hallway with the lights, theoretically. Because the lights are on my right. Lights are on the left. I hit a dead end. Come on, monster. That was a good idea, though. That was such a good idea if that would have worked.
I think the lights might just always be on the right
_cha
side.
cha
Oh no, there's a room here with them on the left.
Woohoo, 9 months. Just
You're
enough
leaking
time to make a
stars.
little baby in my tum.
I'll follow
I
the
didn't turn.
lights
I
from where I
accomplished
am.
nothing. Ha 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 ha. Love you all. Gay pride. Ziggbee wiggles. Ziggbee wiggles. Ziggbee wiggles.
What is all
I
that?
won't. The lights led me to death.
Yeah, me too. I thought it... Yeah. Boo! Whoever made this map, you're not giving me joy. Trapping me here. It's okay, I'm immortal. I can do this forever. I am leaking lots of stars. Why am I doing that? Wait, how are they showing up? Do you see any stars?
I do not.
Now I do. Did it stop? Yeah, I'm leaking stars on the stream. Like, you can see stars, but I don't see any stars. This place is breaking me.
I told you, that thing's trying to steal your magic.
Probably. Trick's on it. I have access to a whole dimension filled with it. I don't think I can run out of it. Woo! Woo! Oh, I want to read the message from Nat Chachalala. Thank you for resubscribing with your Prime and being subscribed for 9. I almost said 6. I almost flipped that number upside down. Thank you for being subscribed for 9 months. It says, woohoo, 9 months. Just enough time to make a little baby in my... Wait, what? Make a little baby in your tummy? I didn't, though. What? Accomplished nothing. Haha, love you. No, you accomplish things. Every day is an accomplishment, honestly. Are you hiding behind the barrels? Can I hide behind the barrels too?
Yeah.
I have an idea. If we could grab one of these barrels and if it's filled with explosive material, we could take it down the hallway with us and explode it.
Oh my gosh.
If the explosion doesn't destroy it, the bright light surely will. Shadow monsters don't like light, especially bright lights. Whee!
And I might have a way to fight it.
Wait, do you have something to fight it with? That'd be so cool if there was a weapon here for us. Wait, is there a weapon here? No. There's letters and numbers on the computer. I'm not sure what that means. Boop, 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 boop. That's right, Tammy Peace. Post emoji fires. Now you're thinking with your noodle. Thank you. Thank you, Paige Mustang. Sorry, the auto mod kind of like just didn't want that to go through. What are you... Small! That's spooky, Small. Small's being spooky, everybody.
I'm ready to fight this thing.
That would give us more ample time to solve the puzzle. I don't think it would work, unfortunately, though. Boop.
I'm gonna attempt it anyway.
Bust it up. Go get it, Small.
I'm further away from the ground. I feel so slow, even I'm sure I'm moving the exact same speed.
Wait a second. Let me get some distance here.
Do you want to fight?
I'm gonna stick my head through the wall. Yeah, let's see.
It didn't work.
Wait, let me look. What is that? I don't know what that is. Let's look. Let's poke our head to the other way. This is not legal, probably, but we're doing it. Where's the wall at? Time to go through the wall. Don't hit your head on the wall. Wait, I didn't go far enough. Try that again. Ah. Why can't I stick my head through this wall?
You breaking things again.
No, no. Wait. I can see my camera. Let me go a little farther down and see what I can see. I know if we walk around that corner, that kind of triggers it. Let me hug this wall, maybe? Okay. Hug this wall. And try to go through it. Look around. What do we got here? I can't see anything cool. There's too much darkness. Everybody gets stuck on a corner? No, they probably thought of that. Wait, can't you fly, Small? Can you fly through the ceiling?
Oh, wait, yeah. Hold on.
You're probably seeing the bird's eye view. Be careful going too close to that turn, though, because Mr. Spooky Shadow will want to be getting you. I don't think they can reach you, actually, if you fly. Well, I don't know. You're super big. What I show Small? Big, Small is. Small's just floating through the ceiling. I can't boing that tall. I should be able to, though.
Oh no, they thought of this. There's like a thing over the roof, so I can't see anything from above.
Okay, they thought of it. Sneaky. Sneaky! Okay, that's some dumb. I don't feel like brute forcing this and being like, yeah. I can't believe stars are just falling out of my paw. This place is messing with me. Everybody, that's it basically. Thank you for hanging out a little bit. Sorry for the last part, might have been a little bit boring, me just trying to do this maze again and again with Small. Muddy Blues, congratulations if you're still here for being Pictionary Champion of the Week, and I'll see all of you probably Friday on TikTok if you want to see me on Friday. I'll try to stream. I can't guarantee it though. But before I go, I will give you beans. Okay? And stars, I guess. My stars are broken here for some reason. And I give you stars, bonus stars, and a whoosh, and a boing, and a hug too. You want to do a hug or group hug if you want, Small?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on, I need to float.
Whoa, there you go. So fancy. Everybody, we can have group hugs, okay? Only if you want, though. We'll give groups hugs. There you go. There you go. Grumpy Lycus says, thank you, Small. That's so sweet.
No problem.
Wait, that one looks familiar. Who is that? Niall P voiceover. Who you? Do I know you? Do I know your emoji? Let me see, who is that? Maybe I don't. It looked almost like somebody else I recall. They're called like Mountain Dew Red or something on TikTok. Welcome. Welcome. You know me from TikTok? I do? Wait, are you Mountain Dew Red? No, are you? Wait. Wait, let me see that again. Yeah, it's the Code Red Duru. Oh my gosh, no wonder it looks familiar. Hello. Hello, Code Red. How you doing? I didn't expect you. Do you ever watch my streams? Or do you lurk and watch my streams? It's you. It's nice to meet you. I'm gonna find out later if you really are who you say you are.
Oh my gosh.
I'm so like paranoid and suspicious. Let's see here. I want to see your channel too. Because I know you're on TikTok. Wait, how do I click on it? How do I click on it and look on it on stream? I don't know. Does that button do it? Okay, now it's opening. Yeah, that is you. There you are. What do you play by chance? Recent broadcast, VR chat, and K's and the Wild Mask. Did I say that right? I'm not sure. Is that a platform it looks like? I'm gonna play one of your videos. Can I hear you too? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, to be immersed in it definitely gets you into the spookiness.
That is exactly why Help Wanted was a success.
Did you hear that on stream by chance?
Yeah, I haven't played it.
Oh, it's probably like
Wanted.
sorry.
I played the classic number 1.
Sorry, I had to check it out. I was curious. Variety streamer VR chat a lot. That's cool. Thank you for checking out the Twitch stream. Thank you for talking in chat too. I'll try to miss. I might bug you sometimes for fun. You seem pretty cool and chill. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. See you maybe Friday. And yeah, have a great weekend if I don't see you. I love you all very much. Platonically, of course, because I'm married and stuff. And that's it. I guess I'll zoom these away small. Did I forget anything? I think is there? Oh, beans too. There you go, beans. Small showing off your fancy beans. Her beans are way more fancy because they're like little hearts. It's adorable. And ignore my stars; they're kind of broken right now. Goodbye, everybody. I'm gonna zoom these away down the scary hallway. All right.
Oh my gosh.
Goodbye, everybody.